I know if I say it, some of you who had heard the same word will know what I said. Someone said, to whom brain is given, sense is expected. And part of the sense we are talking about is emotional intelligence. The topic of emotional intelligence, particularly in this time, is one topic that multinationals, captains of industries are given to. In fact, multinational companies make it a must, some thrice a year, some twice a year, for their top managerial staffs to just go and be reminded some of this intelligence, right? So what is emotional intelligence in its totality, right? But before we get into that, let me say something. They said IQ and technical skills are important, but emotional intelligence is very, very important. Very, very important. Something that is absolutely indispensable. At times you will find persons that are very, very intelligent, very, very smart, but you find out that they are just left, the scriptures will say the race is not to the swift, the battle is not to the mighty. Candidly, lately, I'm of the opinion that one other component that people need is that intelligence. And let me define emotional intelligence by my definition as a way of review. Is knowing what to do, when to do what to do, how to do what to do, with whom to do what to do, and the way and manner you gather yourself, like General Arogudande Dele will say, right? Doing the right thing at the right time. If you're doing the wrong thing at the right time, you are not going to gain traction. If you're doing the right thing at the wrong time, you're still not going to gain traction, right? So it helps us. Emotional intelligence help to increase leadership ability. It increases team performance. If everybody in the team have some emotional intelligence, the performance of the team will be better, right? It improves decision making. You will not be afraid, how will this person feel? No, because it's going to, people are going to know what to not do at a given time. It also decreases occupational stress and reduce staff turnover and increase personal well-being, because if you are stressed up, your well-being is affected. So by way of definition, right, remember I said I'm just reviewing, right? This is exactly the notes that I was given, right, by our convener, our lecturer last week. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, and your ability to use this awareness to manage behavior and relationship. Your ability to use this awareness. Let me just backtrack a little bit. So emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, and your ability to use this awareness to manage your emotions, your behaviors, and your relationship. This definition is given by Travis Bradbury, and they said that he is the father of emotional intelligence. All right, so certain myths about emotional intelligence, right? Quickly, emotional intelligence cannot be learned. Practicing emotional intelligence will make you, those are some of the things people believe about emotional intelligence, that it cannot be learned, and when you practice it, you will become a weakling, and only CEOs, you know, chief executive officers that are supposed to have emotional intelligence, or that emotional intelligence is only applicable in developed world. I mean, you could see that everything I'm saying here is not true, right? Or emotional intelligence is about manipulation, or emotional intelligence is only for businessmen. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true, right? In our studies, right, we're going to see components of emotional intelligence, right? And these components of emotional intelligence are: number one, self-awareness. When you get to know yourself, you know your tendency, you know your strengths, you know your ability, right? You are able to harness them. For instance, for me as a person, there are times in the home I will tell them, please, I am stressed up. Do your best to just stay a little bit within your boundary. Or I'll tell them, I'm going to do this and I don't need a lot of talk around. You see, I know that when I'm stressed up, I easily get angry. I used to have anger challenge, but I no longer have it, right? We're going to also be talking, if you are aware, how do you regulate yourself? In as much as you regulate yourself, where do you get your motivations from, right? And then empathy, right? And then social skill. So components of emotional intelligence, the first one, self-awareness. Self-awareness, by way of definition, is the ability to perceive your own emotion and understand your tendencies across situations. Some just have very, very, very low value of themselves. Some want a lot of attention. And you see, if you know that when people are not giving you, the problem is not them, you should know that the problem is you. Some have low self-esteem, is a problem. Some have very high self-esteem. Let me use our colloquial language. Some have a lot of initial gra-gra. So knowing your strength and your weaknesses, right, is what is called self-awareness. You see, there are certain weaknesses that you can hide it from your face, but you can't hide it from your heart and your conscience, right? You might be laughing at people, but you know you don't like them. Emotional intelligence, one of the components is self-awareness. Self-awareness, right? Okay. In self-awareness, right, just thinking about this help you to improve your skills. And one other way you will improve your self-awareness is permit friends, colleagues, family members, office people, church members, right, assist you with opinions. Yeah, I mean, if you live around me, you always hear me say how that my mom one day looked at me and said something very calmly. She said, you have the tendency to be great, just that anger might destroy you. No, she did not use might. Interestingly, she's even here. She said, anger will destroy you if you don't solve it. And that drove me to go and solve the anger issue. And I say that today I'm a better person. And thank you, Ma, for bringing that to my knowledge. So you needed the first place you have to be honest is with yourself assessment. And listen, after you have assessed yourself, right, you must be honest. When you realize that this is a personal problem, I realize that there are persons that when they are hungry, they are easily angered. Generally they say a hungry man is an angry man. Not everybody. I was above 46 before I realized what hunger was. I was so given to taking my attention off food. I was above 46 before I knew what hunger was. Are you getting me? So when you assess yourself, and then you hear what people tell you, hey, you lie a lot, hey, your anger will destroy you, hey, your low self-esteem. One time I kept telling somebody, I said, when you are angry, I get angry but you will never find it around when I'm around the public place. The public space, no. Now, even back at home, I am working on it headlong. It's because of self-assessment. Okay, so taking some emotional tests too can help you to know yourself, right, in order to self-regulate yourself. All right, another component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation, is when an individual acts or restrained from taking action. It is dependent on one's self-awareness. For instance, lately, anything that gets me angry, I just keep quiet. Like General Daly was telling us. He said, just take a walk. And then I wanted asking a question. What if you want to take a walk? I mean, let me be practical. What if you're a married man and then you are annoying your wife, right? And then she wants to take a walk and you block the door, and vice versa. You're married and then your wife is angry with you and you want to open the door and take a walk, and then she locks the door, and then some will stand by the door and say, if you are a man, come and touch me. Don't touch her. Sam, say I'm a man, but my man ability is not to touch you. Go and enter the toilet and lock it. If she come banging the toilet, if neighbors come ask and say the key got missing, and then she's trying to open the whole place for you. So self-regulation is what happens when an individual acts or restrained from taking action. It is dependent on your awareness. Your awareness of your challenges will help you to regulate yourself. Ability to use one awareness of his emotion to stay flexible and direct one's behavior positively is also self-awareness, right? Nobody knows your challenge like you do. All right, so let me give us an example, right? It is always better to respond than to react. If you remember, he made reference to this. Reactions are usually on impulse and could have serious negative consequence. Here I have a slide that showed that scene where one known actor slapped the other actor. Will Smith slapped Chris, and it was just on impulse. On the phone, Will did it on behalf of his wife Jade. Jade was even angry with Will Smith for doing that. I mean, I don't know how true that is. Alan, they're not even together any longer, and it all began from that place, right? And guess what happened to Will Smith? The Oscars Academy banned him for 10 years, and they shut down his film production. That affected him. He really apologized and did all of that. But you see, the impulse, particularly of anger, every part of our emotions, a lot of time when they are stirred up, we might regret their actions. So we need a lot of self-assessment, right? Let me read what is here. If you are wearing a white dress and you engage in a fight with a pig that just came out of a mud, it might be difficult to know who is actually the pig after the fight. It's an African proverb. It means be wise. Be wise. In those days, this is how my dad told me. One of the day, I don't know why he even did. He said, when you go to the river and you pull off your clothes completely, you're stark naked and then you're swimming and a madman comes and pick your clothes, what will you do? Have you ever thought of it? Naturally, you will think of coming out to pursue the madman to collect your clothes. Believe me, eventually you will be the madman. You know why? Nobody will know that the man with the rag is the madman. They will see you that is naked as the madman. So I asked him, what should I do? He says, stay in the water until you see someone that could help you with clothes, or wait in the evening and find your way naked back home. That is emotional intelligence. Number two, a component of emotional intelligence is motivation, right? What is motivation? The ability of being driven to achieve for the sake of achievement, passion for the work itself, zeal to do better, not satisfied with the status quo. Emotionally intelligent person are self-aware and they are motivated person. Don't settle for the status quo. No matter like our slogan, you know, for all that we have done, we can do better and we will do better. Motivated leaders are usually optimistic in the face of challenges, and this usually have a contagious effect on their subordinate, right? If you are a motivated leader, and let me tell you, results should not be the main focus of your motivation, because there are instances wherein you might not have result, but you still needed to be motivated. I mean, but particularly for me, when I'm training our leaders, one of the things I emphasize is don't look at the records. Keep the record, but don't allow the record to sink into your head. Growth in its reality, you don't even know when it is happening. You just wake up and realize that you have grown significantly. The third component is a component of empathy. And what is empathy? Empathy is the ability to accurately discern emotions in other people and understand what they are going through. Empathy, simply defined, is putting oneself in another person's shoe to imagine what they are going through. I remember back then, whilst we were here in Zaria, I will always tell the ushers, when you see somebody refusing or acting unbecomely, don't get offended. You don't know what they went through or what they are going through. For a lady, maybe she's going through her menstrual cramp, or maybe on their way to church, somebody angered or annoyed them, right? So put yourself in people's shoe. Like when we're driving, particularly myself and my wife, and then we see a car that is supposed to be speeding and is not speeding, one of the things we always say is only God knows what they are going through and why they are not speeding. A lot of time you see cars that are supposed to be speeding and are not speeding. Is when you get close, you realize that they are doing their best for the car to move. Are you getting me? So empathy is putting yourself in other person's foot. Shoes. If you don't do that, you will be a little bit dictatorial. You will be a little bit without human sympathy and empathy, right? And empathy is skillful in sensing the felt but unspoken, and both unspoken, right, emotions in a person or in a group. In empathy, it makes a leader able to get along well with people of diverse background, diverse creed, diverse cultures, and diverse belief. For instance, there are certain things you will never find me saying among people of different faith. Also, there are certain things in the neighborhood you shouldn't do. Like you always hear me say, you will never catch me praying loud at home. Never. In fact, lately I'm thinking of soundproofing maybe the store, so that if I soundproof and lock the door, I might not be able to have a network coming in. So, but the passion is from my spirit, not from my sound, right? Is being able, I'm going to teach on cross-cultural intelligence one of the days, right? We're also taught in Pali, all right? So showing empathy as a leader does not mean that you will compromise discipline in your place of business or work. Not at all. As much as you should be able to put yourself in other people's shoes, right? It does not mean you should compromise on discipline. Else, some people will take advantage of that. For instance, one person always is the one that is always asking for excuses and always not meeting the target and always looking for the sympathy of others. No. You should not, you should not mistake empathy or forgo empathy, self-discipline for empathy. On the note here, he said, no, never sacrifice discipline on the altar of empathy. The next on the slide is social skill, components of emotional intelligence. And what is social skill? The social skill, right, is the ability to use the awareness of one's own emotion and those of others to manage interactions successfully. You use the awareness of your emotions, right? Your values, your culture, your beliefs, your ideals, your boundaries, and those of others, right? When I'm talking with a person, I am not with the person, but I know when the person wants the talk to stop. When you're talking and suddenly the person is saying, okay, the person is telling you, let's end this talk. You need a lot of emotional intelligence to understand that. Are you getting me? Lately, I told my wife, I said the highest minute I can talk to a person, except if it is office work, is 7 to 10 minutes. Highest, no matter what it is, except if I'm rendering a counseling. And very soon, counseling is not going to be free, except for church people, right? So, social skill, right? Importance of social skill. It helps you to communicate more effectively. It helps you to build, grow, and maintain relationship with colleagues, with clients, and with new contacts, right? Importance of social skills, right? So listen to something very, very profound, because social skill deals with networking. There is something lately, that had become a word we use. We say your network is your net worth. Your network. If amongst all your friends you are a broke person, your net worth is a network of broke people. But if your network is a network of good, intelligent, social, multi-millionaire, you're in the network. And let me tell you, to boost yourself at times, you have to break even and get into other class and cadre, right? So start building relationship long before you need them. That is emotional intelligence, right? Strive to build relationship and not burn bridges. Strive to build relationship, don't burn bridges. So as a way of recap, right? Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your moods, your emotion, your drive, as well as that of others. While self-regulation is the ability to control and redirect destructive impulses. Motivation is the passion to work for reasons that go beyond money and status. The passion to work. Like our people, a lot of time I tell them, I say, do this not even because of the money. I said the money that will accrue eventually is much more than the money you're going to be paid. So build, and then that relationship, and then empathy, as a way of recap, is the ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people. While social skill is proficiency in managing relationship and building network. What are the signs of low emotional intelligence? You struggle with empathy. You don't want to put yourself in people's feet. Difficulty in regulating your emotions. poor listening skills. If you realize that you are very impatient in listening to persons, you needed to build your emotional intelligence. You are a boss in the office, particularly when pastors are talking to me. I sit and I listen to them very quietly, and I think I must confess I have a soft spot towards pastors because of the load of pastoring. I honestly realize I do have a soft spot towards them, meaning I will naturally, unconsciously just find myself taking sides with them. You get me? Forgive me for that. I'm going to balance it. And you've heard me say it. I say I would rather have the doctors to treat the patient than to let go of the doctors who will treat the patients, right? So people with low emotional intelligence have difficulties with handling criticisms. Let me tell you, whether you know it or not, if you are going to make progress, you must allow people to criticize what you do. You must. As a leader, one of the things I do a lot of time, right? I tell my pastors, I say, put yourself in my shoes and tell me exactly what you're going to do. In fact, lately I told nearly all the resident pastor, I said, assume you're the general overseer. What will you do different from what I am doing? Anytime I'm going beyond time, the fear of one of my leaders, I'll just be thinking, after service, even if he's smiling and coming at me, as far as I'm concerned, that smile is, you did it again. I'm not afraid of people criticizing me. And believe me, as a leader, you are not all-knowing. You needed persons that should be able to criticize you. I told some persons, I say, you have to watch my back because I don't see my back. If anything is wrong behind me, quickly tell me. That is, watch my actions and be able to tell me honestly. I tell them, I said, please just honestly tell me. Not that you cook food and there is a lot of salt and then they say, but the food is salty, and then you're moody the whole day. No. If you must make progress, you must have the emotional intelligence to be able to accept it when you are criticized, receive it wholeheartedly. All right. And then people with low emotional intelligence struggle with relationship and deep connections, right? Okay, so here are some simple measures to improve your emotional intelligence level. You will love this. Number one, have a notebook to jot down your reactions to various situations. Just have a notebook. In fact, in reality, you don't even need a notebook. You know what? Just be noting your reaction. It will tell you whether you have low self-esteem. It will tell you whether you are poor in meeting up with assignment. It will tell you whether you have anger issues. It will tell you whether you're struggling with envy and jealousy. Are you getting me? Just get a notebook and jot down your various reactions. You're saying, but you know. One of the things that this will help you is it will help you to be self-aware. It will give you a real value. This one, nobody is doing it for you. It is you that is doing it for yourself. Number two, right? Measures to improve your emotional intelligence. Ask friends and families to give you feedbacks about your emotions. And don't get angry when they give you. In fact, ask people that you know, and some of the people that will give you the real value are family members. Family members will tell you straight up, like in my home from Saturday, if you make any slight mistake that you are not acting based on emotional intelligence, you hear somebody say, but that is not emotional intelligence now. You are acting. Even me now, I'm afraid to do certain things because I know that they will come for me. What a blessing the teaching have done to the home, right? Ask people, or you might have heard people say, what is your challenge? They are not saying it against you. They are not saying it at you. They are saying it so that you do something about it. know your strength and your weaknesses. Like I always give example, right? I say that even if it is other persons that are fighting in those days, if I'm around there, I will join the person I feel is cheated to fight. Now I know that that is a weakness. The moment I'm seeing a fight, I walk away. I just walk away. You just see me walking away. I'm walking away. I just walk away. And I mean it. If I'm angry at home, I just get into the room and sleep off. And that is something very funny. When I'm angry, I easily sleep. Very easily. Are you getting me? So just walk away. It takes two to tangle. You mustn't answer. No, I'll give him a piece of my mind, though. I'll give him a piece of my heart. And you know, one of the holy books said the heart of a man is desperately wicked. If you're giving them the piece of your heart, you are giving them the piece of your wicked, your desperate wickedness. Give them a piece of the fruits of the regenerated human spirit. Are you getting me? Just give them something. Let people never be able to know what your negative response will be. Always take people aback. When they thought you would have broken bottles, let them see you smiling. And honestly, over time, biologically, there is something that is called the law of use and disuse. When you keep doing that, it becomes a faculty, it becomes a part of you. I'm not saying what I've not practiced, I'm saying what I have practiced. Are you getting me? Like I said, at home back then, right, I used to have anger issues. But everybody that is part of our organization that is here, you bear witness. I said in the last 30 plus years of pastoring, I got angry only once in the public, and I regretted doing it. I regretted. In fact, I have to follow Baba Yembu, Lucky, right, and apologize to him. But it was out of frustration. And it was just this recent son's word first. You know, for days, the generator was just misbehaving after spending over 400,000 and happy that we're going to have everything work out rightly. I just shouted, you know, and I just walked away. Those of you that were there, if you remember, I just walked away immediately that happened. And I met him. He said, no, that he understand. And you know the phone? It was immediately after I shouted that they found the answer to the problem. But I did not say go and shout so that they will find answers to the problem. As leaders, right? Leadership is not lordship. You must find a way to go round. You have anger issues as a leader. You have low self-esteem. But I'm talking to them. Nobody is hearing me. Like the question the other day somebody asked. So how are you going to deal with old, difficult persons, right? All you need is increase your emotional intelligence. Just increase it. I mean, my mom, biological mom, is under my authority. She's not a difficult person, of course. but you needed to know what it means for your mom to be under your authority. At times when you just want to do some things, you remember your mom is here. Are you getting me? A lot of emotional intelligence. So, and measures to improve your emotional intelligence level, right? Up your self-control. Just increase your self-control. Increase your self-control. No matter what it is, can I tell you, there is no emotions that you have that you cannot control. You say hunger, you can't control hunger. That ain't true. You can. You can. Hunger had never killed anybody. It's starvation that had killed many. Oh, mine is anger. Anger is not true. You can. If you've watched me. Oh, mine is I cannot just take nonsense. No, you can. What you will do is take the nonsense and keep it aside. Just take it and keep it aside. Stop giving people the peace of your mind. All right, so note what triggers your feelings and take steps to control your reaction. Note it. Just note what triggers. Do you know, whilst I was yet back in the Middle Belt, Northwest, particularly Zaria, there was this thing that just actually enrages me. Most times right? When people see me because of my complexion and look, and you know the way they insult people around there is this negative word they just say. And I'm not even fighting because it hurt me. I'm fighting because you mean, so if it were that person, this is how you're going to treat him. I don't like oppressors. I really don't like oppressors. But you know the fun? I grew up as an oppressor. I mean, I was a bully while I was in secondary school. But you see, emotional intelligence will help you know what triggers your feelings. Okay, let me take another one. Let me take another one, right? If you're a man, you will know what triggers your feeling for the opposite sex. You know the kind of ladies, the moment you see them, you are off balance. My wife will tell you, he likes this kind of girls. Of course, like, and it ends there, right? It's a discipline. I made up my mind, right? It won't happen. And I just know it personally. I told her. Are you getting me? Like, okay, for instance, you always hear me say, I say, no matter the fasting I'm fasting, if you bring meat, forget it. I'll eat my meat and continue the fast. So from the moment I eat the meat, I will not eat anything until 18 to 21 hours. But that meat, no, is enough temptation for me. So let me solve the temptation so that I will not be tempted by the temptation. All right. So know what triggers your feelings and take steps to control your reaction. Instead of reacting, respond. Instead of reacting, respond. Instead of reacting. I like the way he kept giving example. He said, think before you act. Let me add it. Also think before you talk. Also think before you text. Also think before you chat. Also think before you send that voice note. Like I made it, I told church people, I say, when you are angry, never text, never send a text, never send a chat. It could be used against you. Particularly in this generation, I met people that have over 1 gig of what they call evidence. And I said, keeping evidence is even bad enough. I mean, I just learned a very good lesson. All right, so identify the behavior and our actions that were not useful and replace them with positive one. Anger in itself is not negative, but negative impulse of anger is what is negative. So you could replace it with good one. You use that anger for protecting loved ones, right? If you find that you snap when your feelings are overwhelmed at work, take a break and gather your thought and relax. Just take a break. Even at home, if you realize that I used to, when we're talking to married couples, I tell the wives, I say, when your husband have incurred a lot of bills, be careful how you pressure him with asking money. At that point in time, men will unwisely just want to snap back at you. Don't you know the money I spend? They might not say it. Where do you want me to get the money? Are you getting me? So when you are overwhelmed, take out time and rest. At times, honestly, not just rest, take a vacation. Just take a vacation. You remember he said one of the challenge that brings about one being overwhelmed emotionally is stress. When you are stressed, you act. And listen, funny enough, the worst stress is not even stress from work, is psychological stress. The day I am the most tired are Sundays, because I go through a lot of things in my mind. When I'm teaching, I do my best to be able to meet everybody's need, you know. I think of the service, I think about everything. So 6, 7, I'm asleep. And I sleep very heavy on Sunday. But you know what? To someone that feels that preaching is not a serious work, it seems as though that is the day I did zero work. But it's not always so. All right. So if you find that you snap, you react too much, right? Take a break. Go and rest. So another measure, right? to build your emotional intelligence. When you realize that you take a break and the break is not working, if you are married, talk with your spouse. I'm adding this one, being in the cycle of families. Talk with your spouse, talk to your husband, talk to your wife, call your kids and talk to them, right? Possibly at times talk to where the pressures are coming from. Like before I relocated from Zaria, I just walked to my dad and I said, can I have a word with you? He said yes. I said, I will not be able to do this and this and this and this again. He said, why? I said, I'm overwhelmed, and all the negative response I heard internally within that short time were coming from those things I said I'm not going to do. I said, and moreover, it's the responsibility of a first son. I'm not the first, please. And then I gave him another reason. I said, moreover, I'm going far. Where I'm going to, I might not have the luxury of time. I said, but you can be doing it through phone calls and other things. I say, okay, since there are family issues, anytime I'm going to do them through phone calls, the family must foot the bills for the call. And you know, I will not even be able to ask them for it. Indirectly, I exonerated myself, and I was very honest about it. Very honest. One other thing I realized that was overwhelming us was people that come to stay with us, particularly younger persons. I mean, I just told my wife, I said, at this stage, even if we need help, we're going to get help and be paying them, domestic staffs and be paying them. Identify the challenges and solve them so that you will not be overwhelmed with stress here and there, right? But if after doing all of these, you are still overwhelmed and you are still going through depression, honestly, go and visit a psychologist or a therapist. Go to the hospital. Let me say this on a clear time. Hospitals are not against you. They are for you. In fact, if not for hospitals, some of us wouldn't have been here today. So learn at times when you are overwhelmed, go to the hospital. Explain it to a doctor. See your pastor. See your leader in the office. See your unit leader. Go and talk with your parent. It will interest you at times as a man if you are overwhelmed with challenges and you know that your father have the interest of your home and he's cooled enough, right? When you talk with him, you realize that you were even acting foolishly. A lot of time when I'm overwhelmed, I talk with my dad or my mom. I'll say, I'm overwhelmed with this challenge. At times they will say, it's a normal thing now. In fact, your own is even little. Or, someone was overwhelmed with a challenge and he called the dad. The dad laughed and laughed and laughed. And he said to him, he said, your mom did worse than this, but I'm patient with her. You have to be patient with your wife. It's just a stage. It's just a stage in marriage. It's just a stage. Are you getting me? All right. So, in emotional intelligence, it has to do with intra relationship. That is the relationship between you yourself and you, and then interpersonal relationship. So I'm going to show us some very simple tips on how to build effective relationship with subordinates, right? If you're in a position, subordinates and colleagues, number one, listen more. Learn to listen. Number two, don't interrupt when people are talking. Don't interrupt. Lately, when I'm talking with people, I will tell them, I do that a lot. As they say, I want to record what we are going to say. It will amaze you. Honestly, at times, even if you are not recording it, you realize that the talk that would have lasted 2 hours will last only 20 minutes. You know why? When you record, they will not say lies. And they will sift out many things. Are you getting me? But above all, take a jotter so that you will not be interrupting people. Be writing. Like, At times when when me and my wife are talking, I say, I'm coming, let me just get a jotter. Because I don't want to interrupt her. She said, no, wait, let me finish. I say, okay. And I'll be jotting. I'll say, if I understand what you said, then I will write the statement. I say, is this what you imply? And please don't help people to imply. If you are not understanding, quickly ask them. If I understand it, do you mean that if I don't do it, you are going to do this? Because at times, right, when people are talking, they are talking in an ambiguous way. It's left for your interpretation, and a lot of time your interpretation might not be what is in their mind, might not be what is obtainable in the context. And that is where you see that a lot of time you see a lot of rancor in the home, a lot of rancor in the place of work. But you said so. And then you see the person is amazed. You know why the person is amazed? Because that is not what he meant. That is not what she meant. All right, so tune into non-verbal communication. What is non-verbal communication? Understand what the people are not saying. There are days I wake up and do the whole chores that my wife is supposed to do. Her movement a day before told me that honestly she is tired. She needs to rest. Thank God that now our kids are grown up of age. One is even taller than me. I just say rest. Let them take care of everything. She didn't say she is tired, but I know from her body language that she is very tired. Are you getting me? So get your subordinates first name optional. Just call people by their name and be respectful. Particularly now, right? Where we are, there are instances they don't want you to say Mr. or Mrs. No. And then there are offices that don't permit that because of the transgender whole thing, right? So if you want to talk to me, you say Ubandoma. If I want to talk to you, I say Ahmed. Are you getting me? Identify. Don't say ask people around me. Even if I know that I'm the one, even if you are tapping me and say I will not turn. I was named Solomon Selbol Ubandoma. I won't turn. My name is not. So get to know people by their name, right? Okay. Also, tips to build relationship is fully be present with your subordinates. For instance, just appear where they least expect you will appear. They are doing their naming ceremony. Just come there. Always keep a smile. That is how you build relationship. Where you're always keeping a straight face. People are afraid of your face, right? Encourage your subordinates. Don't discourage them. A lot of time you hear me say, I'm looking out for the best in you. Any wise person knows that that is an encouraging word. I say, you might not like what I did, but I did it for your own good. And truly, a lot of time, ultimately you realize what I meant. Are you getting me? Condone genuine mistakes. Honestly, there are mistakes that are somebody is moving and then he trips off and all the glasses are broken and then you are raising your voice. No. Those are not intentional. It's a policy in our home. You don't shout and you don't spank when the kid destroys anything. If one of the days, they mistakenly destroy something that was very, very valuable. It cost, believe me, I'm not exaggerating. It right now costs above $500,000 naira. I sat down and screamed twice and I buried the whole talk. That was it. No talk about it again. Up until tomorrow. Did it hurt me? Why not? $500,000 naira in this time. And God's faithfulness, not up to 2 months, I got a better replacement that was far much more costlier than the one we lost. Condone genuine mistakes. Somebody mistakenly, right, didn't know what emotions is all about in your leadership, and then mistakenly they have some emotional accident. Don't make them look like devils. No, man. No, sir. Somebody failed a course. Don't make them feel, how could you have failed this? No, man. Condone genuine mistakes, right? And then give genuine recognition and praise. Give genuine recognition and praise, right? For instance, on people's birthday, one other way you could reach them is just send them letters, specific letters. Just appear on their anniversary, put it on your status, put a call through to them. Lately, I don't do the social media thing so much, but I endeavor to make them know that they are precious to me. I just put a call. How are you doing? Can I pray with you? At times I buy them gift. If you are very, very particularly people at my immediate at the immediate leadership position under me, right? I made up my mind. Their celebration is on me. Just do that. Just get a cup with their name inscribed on it. And guess what? You're not doing it as contribution. I do it for you, you must do it for me. No. You're doing it without expecting anything in return. But let me tell you the good news. It's difficult for you to do it for people, and those that are emotionally intelligent will not do it in return. But if they don't, bless your darling heart, you don't do it because you want a return. All right, give your subordinates wings to fly. Provide resources for assigned tasks and condone genuine mistake. Be a mentor, not a tormentor. Be a mentor, not a tormentor. How to build effective relationship with your superiors. Number one, know their personality and their likes. You remember he gave examples with your superior is a Chelsea fan and they won Chelsea, and then you come to the office that next day and all you're talking about is how happy you are that Chelsea lost. You're looking for trouble, oh. In fact, that they come in a sober mood and say, oh God, it is well, I'm in faith with you. Next time Chelsea will win. You will win the Oga's favor naturally, but the Oga is sad and then you are happy. No, you don't do that. Read their modes and facial expression. There are days you should just, let me use our colloquial language, carry body come off from trouble, right? Do not just present your problems, suggest solutions. Like as an organization right now, building on the word, the Lighthouse Family Church, if there is anything I learned to do is administration. I just went to school for 2 years and I'm already liking what is happening. I ask everybody that is a stakeholder, what do you think? Give people an opportunity to talk. And when you are given an opportunity to talk, have emotional intelligence. Don't say, finally, I've been looking for the opportunity to tell you. Do you know that I've been combing you? You have been acting foolishly. No, I think you're the one that is acting foolishly. Say, you have been, you have helped us so greatly. You have brought us thus far. Despite all the challenges that we have been through, you have weathered the storm and you have brought us. But I don't know if it's going to make sense. I think that if subsequently we do this thing this way instead of this way, and because I'm good at doing it that way, I'm going to make sure that it works. I mean it. Even if your boss is foolish, he will accept your intelligence. Are you getting me? Next one, right, is comment before you express a negative or different opinion. Commend. Somebody did something that but in between something went wrong, right? What you should do is you should give commendations first. Oh, great service, great preaching, great preaching. But sir, we are while you are stammering, you hear, yeah, 7 minutes above time, 7 minutes above time, 7 minutes above time. Are you getting me? Give commendations first to your wife, to your husband, to your children, right? How to relate with toxic and difficult people. Number one, always look for a common ground. There is no person that you will not have a common ground. Number two, don't try to outshine your boss. That will be the beginning of your problem, particularly if your boss have a low self-esteem of himself. And if you are the leader, don't try to cover the shine of your subordinate. Give them an opportunity to shine, right? Be diplomatic in your approach. How to deal with very, very toxic and difficult persons. Be diplomatic in your approach, right? Carry your bosses along. Give feedback. Give feedback. Like lately, one of the things I request that people do when I instruct them is give me feedback. Like we say, when you see something posted on the church wall, write noted. Oh, seen. Oh, Roger, military language. Roger that is copy that. Are you getting me? All right. And then choose your battles. There are battles, no matter what, never get yourself into them. Never. Choose your battles. There are persons. Let me give us an example, and it's an honest example, right? Particularly for a son who his mother is dear to, and you are married to him. No matter how wrong his mother is, never get into battle with her. Choose your battle. No matter how hard she tried to drag you, don't even wait to be dragged. Just lie down and start crying. Don't fight back. Don't fight back. Choose your battles. You're dealing with difficult persons, and then you're making it much more difficult for yourself. You are planning to kill yourself, right? All right, I'm going to stop here.